See this? This is a bag of Taiwan takeout. We got a 71 Chevelle over there that's still 100% American, and today I am going to start infusing a different culture. We're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to take this bag of takeout and hopefully we're going to infuse it into Mr. Chevelle over there, and hopefully the Mr. doesn't refuse it. See what I did there? Here's a little previous restoration work for ya. Ah, yeah, nice job, boys. Yes, some mother. So there's outer wheelhouses there. So I think, given our condition here, I'm going to come in, I'm going to go way up here to put the new one in. Because that's pretty, pretty suspect there. You got to look at stuff every now and then, hey? You got to give stuff a tink. Here, let me show you. Wait, let me tell you something here. So, I don't know, can you see this? Now all these parts, they all come from different parts of the ocean, right? So before you go just getting all boned up and thinking, holy shit, look at me go, make sure that, make sure that stuff is stuff. I've had it before more than once where stuff ain't stuff. You know what I mean? Where you might as well have an inner wheelhouse for a 68 Ford Lincoln and try to put it into your Chevelle. But this one, actually, it fits pretty good. I mean, it's got a seal up down here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see this here, but it's got a seal up down here at the bottom. And, whoo, that's even better. I don't know what just happened there, but that's even better. But yeah, everything fits pretty good. Once, it'll clamp together tight. Our radiuses are good. I've had to spread them, I've had to move them, I've had to do stuff to get them to fit in the past, but these are okay. So this one particular wheelhouse, which is made by, I don't even know who, made in Taiwan. Oh, they're both made in Taiwan. That must be why they fit. But yeah, this little Taiwanese wheelhouse fits our Taiwanese Codipino. Pretty good, pretty reasonable. Yep. Check that shit out, before you, because it's a bummer if you don't check it out first. It leads you to bumming. You'd be bumming, yo. He says, "Well, how you like that?" That's what I want to do down there. All right. It's going to take some ciphering to figure this one out. I wasn't smart enough to record it, but I've cut about 2 inches off of the inner edge of the new wheelhouse running along that seam that you see up there. And on the existing shitty wheelhouse on the car, I have cut the wheel lip out of it and the whole bunch of Hujimafuzz body lines and shit that run around there to kind of try to get somewhat of a flat bowl on the existing wheelhouse so that I can take the new wheelhouse and schlep her up inside and not have anybody interfering with each other. And then now I'm just making some relief cuts so I can do that. I have made a pretty substantial sacrifice here. Of new Taiwanese tin. We've sacrificed some Taiwanese tin. Tinny. So what my intention here is to do is to not put my glove on like that. Is to, I'm heading somewhere with this. So what I want to be able to do here is I want to be able to throw on my Codipino. And once I've got it pretty much, it's got to be like 90% the final fit. Basically, this wheelhouse, the wheel lip, and the Codipino, it's got to be where it's going to be. So once I get it hanging and I'm happy with with how it's hanging. Oh. Then I want to bring this in inside, I reckon. And I got to be able to schlep her in there with very little drama. That's why I cut that, hey, see, because I got to be able to hike her up here. And we got to hike her up here to where she's got to be. And then once I do that, see, we're not quite, we got to get in there. And once I do that, then what I'll do is I'll zing from the inside, I'll zing a few screws through to hold this in place. And then I'll take the coat of piano back off again. And then I'll make my final cut, and then I'll butt weld this wheel lip in. But, like I'm saying, everybody here has got to be where it's got to be. So it's got to be able to, I got to be able to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying to you? You smell what I'm stepping in here? So a lot of times to do that, sometimes you'll have to make a couple of sacrificial cuts to do a little bit of spreading. You're going to have to spread some stuff apart. And I might have to do that down here. I don't think you can see it, but down here at the end of the rocker panel, I'm going to need a little more space to get it in because Mr. Original wheelhouse is still in here. And then I'm going to put another wheelhouse, shimmy it right up alongside. Not quite lined up there, and I think it's because we still got stuff to do here. According to our lines, we're pretty much there. A lot of times doing this, you just gotta do it and undo it and do it and undo it and do it and undo it and do it and undo it. See, that's a good sign that we're tight around here. Where are you? See what I'm saying? It's easier than the last time. So the new panel, I didn't even have to put no screws in it because with a little bit of bonking, some of a bitch wedged up into place there just kind of the way I like. So I put a couple of big clamps on it while no one was looking, and ba-boom. At some point here, you got to make some finite decisions. Is that the right phrase? Finite? You got to make some finite decisions. Find. You got to do shit. You just got to get to getting. So we got to come up with. Right now the quarter panel is kind of movable. You know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of back and forth, and Mr. Inner Wheelhouse. That's where it's got to be. It fits a quarter good when the quarter's fitting. Yeah, pretty good everywhere. So it's time to nail something down. So we're gonna nail that down. And I'm gonna use this. I don't use this very often because, man, these things will get you in trouble. You know, if this is one of the little tiny, itsy bitsy little cheap shitty ones from here, it's Princess Auto where you are, probably Harbor Freight or something, where you can pull that trigger and you could grab that blade and stop it. You know, maybe not, but you know what I'm saying? You're one of them shitty little doodads that weighs a half a pound. Well, that's one thing, because they don't really got the gumption to change your world. But when I bought this dude, I probably should have bought his little brother, not the big uncle. Anyways. So we're clamped good and tight here. I mean, it's a clamp, right? So they're touching. Okay? So I know for a fact this panel in here goes well up here. This metal here is kind of sketchy, and I know our shapes and stuff ain't right. So I'm going to go up here where it's just a big radius in two ways. And it don't really matter. You're never ever going to see it. And our width and size and blah, 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 and the shape, it don't mean shit up there. So up here, I'm going to cut through there, and then I can manipulate everybody to work. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little manipulation here with Mr. Life-Changing apparatus. So I'm going to cut through them both is what I'm getting at. So I'm not going to cut the whole work, so I'll cut in between the clamps, and then I'll pull them together, and then I'll put some welds. Then I'll cut some more and put some welds, then I'll cut some more and put some welds, and then we'll just weld the whole world up. That's how I do. This is just to anchor us in place here, so we can get, just so we can get to getting. That's what we're doing. We're getting to getting here. Paul Sr. used to say that. You know what Paul Sr. is? Probably didn't like that show. It had its moments. So as you're doing this, whoa, look at you. Let me get back. Let me get out of your way. As you're doing this, you're going to learn that no matter how nice your panel looks, no matter which paid for it, no matter who makes it, when you put your nice new panel up against your factory panel, it's a hunk of shit. It's a hunk of shit. So, obliviously, I got a bunch of cutting away here. Now, what I'm doing, now this panel runs up along here, right, on the inside. So, we got some welds. The welds are going from here on top of that. It's lap welded is what it is. So now once I get that to anchor this, so it ain't moving, see, it's like it's part of the car. Now I'll go back in and start at one end and start cutting through those lap welds and then trying to get them together and then make a little butt weld. And then as I go, I'm pulling the piece out. This is the piece up here, right? So as I cut through these, I'll pull that out of the way, then I'll make another weld. Because you make a weld, you just weld it all three together, and you don't want that. You just two, not three, just two. Right? That's right. Yeah, that's right. You're going to have to do stuff, you know? Unless you're building a seam sealer is your friend kind of a car, which I'm not and I don't. This ain't my car. Then you're going to have to do some stuff. Remember how I said your parts are a piece of shit? Well, they're a piece of shit. What are you going to do? That's the way the old cookie bounces. Whee! So I don't think you can see from your angle how much maneuvering is going to be required here. So it's not bad from there, right? Remember I said it's a piece of shit. Well, that's not very good now, is it? See, and it's just because our radiuses, they're just not the same between that panel and that panel. Hold them up beside each other. If we were doing a whole panel and going in around those spall welds and around there. But for this, so what you kind of need to do is you just got to work your way around it. You know, like I started here and I kind of come up to here and I started down here and I come up to here and now it's kind of all coming to a head. But I kind of wanted to push it into the biggest, curviest spot because it'll be easier to fake it out. So what we'll do is we'll take our trusty dolly with the tightest curve and I'll kind of give that some of the business out. You can sit there and do that all day. I wouldn't recommend it though. And what you might wind up having to do, and I've had to do it before, is you might wind up having to make a cut somewhere, a relief cut. and then allowing your metal to overlap to make another cut and essentially shrink that curve up. It's just the way it goes. So what I'm doing is I'm working around is I'm just pulling the two layers together, and then a lot of it, as soon as I've made my weld, I've got in there and beat the thing out to bring it back into shape. Because a lot of this stuff, when I welded it, my pieces were like that. By the time I pushed them in, they done that. Then I gave her some of that, and they came back out to that. You just got to take my word for it, because that's what happened. That's what happened. All right. So, we either need to find a way. You're going to pull one up or one down. So what I can kind of do with these big long vice grips is I can put them on there and it ain't good. But the inner arm of the vice grip is laid up against the lip of this. So if I pull on it, it's pushing it in. See, watch. See that? So what I'll do is I'll pull it into where it's flush, and then I'll boop. So I got to cut that weld. That's a pretty good peak. I might have to make a cut there. What I do with my safety spectacles, there they are. My glasses. Oh. You don't always got to use a hammer, you know? Now under there I'm using the curve like this here. So that's pretty shitty a minute ago. As you can see, we got, I mean, it's not, there's a few spots here that'll take a little bit of smashing and tapping and banging, but I mean, for the most part, we got we got a butt weld, and it's flush. And for as bad as that's been, that's the thing with the double radiuses, hey, is you can kind of move the metal around and stretch it and shrink it, woo, and then when you're done, it's still just a radius. So yeah, that's going to be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the Cortapino, and I'm going to stick it on there one more time to make sure everybody around here is happy and everybody down there is happy. And then I'm going to finish welding that. Then I'll clean this all up and put some black epoxy on it. Now, when you one thing to keep in mind with these inner wheel tubs is, like, I fitted into the Cortapino over there on the stand, and it was pretty good. You know, it was alright. We were basically just hoping that we had the right shape. Now the curve, because these Chevelle, do you know Chevelle's French? Chevelle. These cars, they got a lot of curve to these Cortapinos. And even the factory quarter panel has a lot of curve, and the new Cortapino, it's got a lot of curve too. So you're not always going to get the same curve to the inner wheelhouse. And this one, I mean, I have done it before on cars. I don't even know what. I mean, something. I did it on something more than once, where my outer Cortapino just barely caught like the wheelhouse. So it's got the, can you see in the dust here? Where are you looking? Up here? So our wheelhouse comes, we'll say like that, and your wheel, your tires ride in here, and your coat of pino is laid on the outside of that, however it goes, and then it hooks around here and in like that, right? And then you got the two of them are forming your wheel lip. I've done it, I don't even know how many times, where that inner wheelhouse is like that, and the outer coat of pino comes down, and it just barely catches it. And there's nothing you can do about that because it's just the shape of it. Like when I fit these two panels together over there on the stand, I stuffed it right in there, and yeah, it fit good. But the reality of it, when it's on the car and you're meshing your new inner with your existing inner, well, if them curves and stuff, if you seen how far out they were, so that lays the inner at a different place once you got it. Am I making any sense, or am I just babbling gibberish? Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, if you're doing this yourself and you're really sweating about the fact that your outer coat of pino is just barely catching that inner, don't force it, don't bash stuff out of shape and go and having to fix it and stuff. As long as you can catch it, get a solid weld in there, and then you can find a way to seal that seam up between the two panels when you're done, whether it be a bead of seam sealer around there, or if you can go in the inside and get some sealer around there. As long as you can seal the weather out of that and you get a good weld from your coat of pino to your inner wheelhouse, well, that's all you can ask for. I mean, what more can you ask? That's it. It's not factory stuff. If you got all GM panels, then, well, good for you, you dink, because it's going to be pretty easy. Then you can just huck stuff together and scotch tape it, and you're home. Anyways, where we're at with this, I can finish welding that inner. So there. I'm not going to pussyfoot around welding this. I'm not going to start at one end and weld it all the way to the other, because you'll just melt it. But I'm going to go inch and inch and inch and inch and inch and inch. I'm not worried about warping it, because it's not good. And even if it does pull it or flatten it or warp it a little bit, who gives a shit? I'm asking you. I forgot to hit pause a while ago. You missed some good stuff. Shit. There's epoxy in and stuff. So anyways, that's what it looks like on this side. It's got a coat of epoxy on it. You know, like I said, and having to work the metal around like that, it's not going to be magnificent, but I mean, you never see this. If you're looking from inside the trunk, you never see this. And from underneath, I mean, you're not going to see it, and it's going to have a good coat of undercoating on it anyways. Main thing is, that's good steel, that's good steel, that's welded solid, that's going to last as long as they own the car. And everybody inside's all sealed up and protected. Now, once that dries, tomorrow, we will work on Mr. Accorapino. So, yeah, there you go, there you have it. If you're looking for it, there you have it. That's how you do, that's how I do an inner wheelhouse on Chevelle.